that angry Tyson. What do you got? You have the hood on. It's like Hoodie Andrew, Hoodie Mello.
The thing is, Cage, I grew up playing sports. And now I'm in this stage where in my brain, I still am a competitor, and my body, it's maybe 50% there. So I still want to compete. And this like helps me get in the zone for the episode. So like, welcome back, Lucas, Tigers and Bronze, Luca Nation. Oh my.
Hello!
It kind of gets me in the zone.
It gets the people going. It's like Good Morning Vietnam. It's a hook. Luca Nation. It's a hook, man. I like it. You know, it works. Lots of fun stuff. So what did you think? What do you think of the old man's post today? A little play on the Super Bowl commercial. LeBron, I got to give a slab away. We got to pick a winner. I'll leave it up a day or so. We'll give a winner. You know, it was the old LeBron talking to the new LeBron, giving him some pointers and some tips about going to the NBA. You know, if you were old LeBron.
It was a good commercial.
If you're old LeBron, you're talking to new LeBron. You are a LeBron. And you get to talk to your younger self, and you get to go back in time. Sort of like, I don't know, what would this be? You know, there's movies like this all the time, but whatever. And you get to tell your younger self one thing. What would it be?
Don't leave Cleveland.
That was quick, man. Don't leave Cleveland ever. Because you think that just messed up his legacy. But he went back to Cleveland. Couldn't go back and win that chip for Cleveland if he didn't leave. It's kind of one of those things.
It's one of those things where you leave once. It becomes. There's a different kind of level of respect for people that have done it in one place their whole career, because inevitably you have to ride the highs and the lows, not just the highs, right? Like when you're in one place for a while, you have to go through the rebuild. You have to go through the grind. You can't just come in and always win. And I think there's something to that.
Then you become Dame.
Or you become Jordan. That's the price you pay for greatness. I agree. It sucks for Dame. I don't disagree with you.
All right. I mean, that was good. I was expecting you to say something like, work harder to make the players around you better. I expected that to be the Andrew LeBron advice. But don't leave Cleveland. I like it. I think it's better. It takes it in a different direction. So how you doing today, man? You feeling good? You feeling all right?
We haven't talked all day, Cage.
Nope. We haven't.
So I want to talk. You know what I realized a little bit today? Cage and I are different in how we go about our analysis of the market. So what Cage is really good at with his four decades, I always bring it up. I make him sound so old.
Experience. I think you know how many decades I've lived in? 70s, 80s, 90s, the 2000s, the aughts we're going to call it, the teens, and the 20s now. I've actually been alive in 6 decades. You say 4 decades? It makes me younger than I am. I've actually been alive in 6 different decades. So thank you. Keep it up.
That's going to mess with my head. I don't understand how that math adds up.
Because I didn't live in full decades, but the 70s I was alive for, right? I was born in the 70s, 80s, right? And we got to go through this again, 90s. That's 3 decades. The aughts, it's 4. The teens are 5. And this decade here, there's only. The 20s, we've only been alive for a couple of years of it. But
was inflation crazy in the 70s, like they report on CNBC now?
I don't know how much my parents paid for my diapers and my passy back in the 70s.
Probably too much. Probably too much. Were you like a 9-pound, 14-ounce baby?
6 pounds 4 ounces, 21 inches long. I was tall, but tall for me, long. I don't know what the hell they call it. Long, and I'm strong, and I'm down to get the friction on, like that. Ladies, no, should I keep going? So I did not weigh a lot. I was almost 5 weeks premature. My brother was 6 weeks premature. He's 6'7" and 300 and whatever pounds, and he weighed 5 pounds 14 ounces. We were tiny babies, tiny by comparison. Ian, who is
huge but
long.
Tiny.
But long but thin, like skinny babies. Ian, who is basically a skeleton with skin on him, he was 9 pounds 6 ounces. He was a behemoth. There were twins born at the same time. Twins born. So we were in the hospital, twins in like I don't want to say room next to us because delivery rooms are like factories now. So it's like a bay next to us with a sheet between us because they're just throwing babies. There's just babies being born every couple seconds.
Delivery room factories now?
Yeah, the twins next to us weighed less combined than Ian weighed himself. He came out, the doctor's like, whoa, that's a big baby. It was amazing. Oh, that's a big baby. We'll never forget that. We say that all the time. Oh, that's a big
When
baby.
doctors did an ultrasound, they found that my mom was having twins. They did an ultrasound 6 weeks later, and they found that I had
eaten your twin. Yeah, you ate your twin. You ate your twin fetus. This explains everything.
I have the strength of a grown man and a baby fetus. Now,
that one time that I came back because my flight was canceled at the National, and I'm like, all right, dude, you got to leave the door open. I got no place to sleep. And you're the man, you know, you let me in. You let me in the room. But you were sleeping. I mean, there was just clouds everywhere, so it was hard to see. But I could see through the clouds of smoke. There was this little Quato head coming out of your back left, like, collarbone. It was pretty cool. But now I get it. You know, there's a little baby head, this little, like, fetus head that's sticking out here. We're getting a little sideways
here. So what Cage is good at is
here we go.
Using his experience to spot patterns of what may happen next. You know, the flight to quality. Hey guys, base is going to come to an end. People are going to start moving their stuff into rarer things. We talked about that in September and August of 2020. Yep. What I do, I think of myself as more of a scout. So why do I say that? Because I'm going to come on here and talk about how Mbappe scored. And all you guys are going to slide in my DMs like, hey, 9 months ago, you were talking about how Mbappe doesn't finish his chances. Mm-hmm. I'm not a prognosticator. I don't try to predict the future. It's not my style. What I think I do a good job of is, I think in another life I would have been a scout. I like that. I love watching game tape. I love analyzing. And what I saw today, Cage, from Mbappe was not only did he score the goal, and it's one of the nicest goals I've seen in the magnitude of that Champions League game, he was the best player on the field for 90 minutes. And there's a lot of good players on that field. And more importantly, he was the fittest player.
He looks healthy.
He looks healthy.
Looks very healthy.
He was relentlessly attacking.
At 90 minutes plus 4, splitting defenders and putting the ball where the goalkeeper couldn't get it, right? That was pretty nuts, right?
Are you fucking with me?
No, right? Isn't that?
Because I know you watched it, but I know you didn't watch it.
Oh,
like, I like how you like.
Did I watch? Are you asking me if I watched the games? I'm noticing a trend here.
well, I always find it funny. Like, I know the shit you watch, and I know you don't watch soccer, but like here, this happened like 2 hours ago, and you know the exact play-by-play of what happened.
So if I happen to be home, well, because if you catch me on days where I'm not in the city working, and it's a midday sporting event where I can be on my computer typing and just have this on in the background and kind of watch the game while not watching the game. I know you watching the game has a different definition.
You watched Champions League?
But I was watching the game. I mean, it was all over Twitter. People were like, this is a great game. Wow. People were talking about it in our OG group. Great game today. So I put it on. I had it in the background. And obviously, it became foreground when it was 0-0 heading towards the end. And I'm like, all right, something's going to happen here. You know what I mean? And I was actually paying attention at the end. But yeah, I mean, I expected PSG to win. They have the names, but the names still have to deliver. Neymar's got to put the ball on Mbappe there. Mbappe's got to make the move.
What's the deal with dyeing your hair? Like, I think Neymar is the Odell of soccer.
I don't know. Right. I mean, should I dye my hair? It's getting gray. It got a lot grayer during this podcast.
Odell dyed his hair purple.
Purple, yes.
Neymar dyed his hair what? Like, was that yellow or gold?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't tell exactly. I'm going to say gold.
And Messi looks old, man. Messi does look like it looks like he's aged a little.
We all do. We all age, man. You're going to age too. The young kids were wondering why you were so excited about Snoop Dogg and old man music at the halftime. You're getting old too. But Mbappe, give me the rundown because I know this is going to surprise everybody listening, but Andrew watches the games. And by watching the games, you're able to really give a full, legitimate breakdown now. So let's hear it. I'm going to actually mute myself because I want to hear this.
You're hilarious. I love when you do the whole, like, I'll mute myself. We're going to make merch one day, and it's going to be, I'll mute myself. Do you even watch the games, bro? Dude, there's not much analysis. I think this could be Mbappe's year. Because, one, PSG has never gotten over the hump to actually win Champions League. And I'm not saying that they will, but this was a huge game and a huge win for them in a really tough draw. And I think next round and the round after that won't be as difficult based on who they face this round. 1. 2, he looks fit. 3, not only does he have Champions League, not only have they won their domestic league, we have World Cup this year. So we have a full year of competitive soccer. It's never really been like this, Cage. So Mbappe looks like the best player in the world, and he has 2 huge tournaments coming up to prove that he is the best. And here's the kicker. His cards have already been sold off so much. I believe that if he doesn't win either of those tournaments or his teams don't, his cards don't take a dip. But I think he has the upside potential of winning Champions League, and I think he has the upside potential of winning World Cup, and I think he has the upside potential of winning both. The point is, Cage, it's not like I'm predicting that he will. My point is, if you look
because
at
you already
cards,
predicted a South American team was going to win the World Cup, and I didn't. Unless I checked France. I mean, I'm not great at geography. I don't watch the globe, but I think France is not in South America. But I mean, things can happen. Just saying they have an advantage.
Did I predict it? Yes. Or did I say that Latin American teams, because of the climate, have an advantage in Qatar?
Yeah. You did.
I
That's
apologize.
what you said. That's what you said. But now
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
Nah.
But my point isn't even that, Cage. I don't predict the future, and I don't even know the draw of the World Cup. Like, who you face matters, and who's injured and who's healthy matters. My point is, Mbappe's cards are still at relative lows compared to what they once were. Is that a fact or fiction?
Yeah, the certain ones, the lower end one, the entry level ones, definitely. I think some of the higher end ones are
even
not.
record prices. Who are record prices of last year? Haaland was the record. Reina was the record. Pulisic. We didn't hear about Mbappe record cards.
Also on the lower end, but yes, you're right. Mbappe was almost out of sight, out of mind. You saw a lot less tweets saying things like Mo Salah and Mbappe are the next Ronaldo and Messi. We saw a lot of that a year before, and then Haaland took a lot of the spotlight away from Mbappe. And yeah, I mean, listen, I got to tell you, it carries forward a theme that we talked about yesterday, which is even in base and the entry level stuff, the silvers, performance is going to matter. And when he has a performance like this, where he's the game winner and he looks good and continues that performance and is the most valuable player out there and wins, the cards will react. So I like where you go. I only have one Mbappe.
Here's his
only
index.
One. Yeah.
What the base? His base PSA 10?
No, I have one. When I started getting into soccer, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I bought a bunch of the Prism and sold every one of them. But I bought one Panini Instant of him. It's a PSA 10 Instant when the pop on those were nothing. You're talking about like the Haaland ones when, the Tops Now. This was Panini Instant before Tops Now in Haaland. And I'm pretty sure it's a pop 1. And there's only like 90 of them that were printed. So I'll grab it, but nobody cares about Panini Instant. That's the thing. Like I think you're better off having just a base Prism.
Do you think that? And I know this is going to pain you to say this. Do you think the Kaboom is going to be his go-to card if people start flocking and there's FOMO and he does well?
I don't know. I noticed Panini released a digital $5 digital pack of foot sticker digitals. And somebody pulled up Mbappe, I think it was out of 10, his jersey number. He's jersey number 7, right? So 7 out of 10, and it's over thousands of dollars yesterday on Panini out of a $5 pack. So, I mean, people buy this stuff, Do I think the Kaboom is the go-to? I don't know, man. People like that Kaboom shit. They really do. People like that Kaboom. People like Downtown. Tops. I opened a box of Tops today with Ian. I don't want to take it off track. I want to talk about Mbappe and what his go-to card is and that kind of stuff. But I opened up a thing. We were down to our last 2 packs and hadn't hit the auto yet. And there was an upside down card, the second to last pack. And Ian's like, oh, it was Tatis. I'm like, oh, we pulled a Tatis auto. And he flipped it over. It wasn't auto. But it was called Hometown Advantage. And it is a blatant ripoff of the Downtown set. It's Tatis Hometown Advantage, got like palm trees and stuff. Like I go get it if you want, or you could probably pull up a picture of it. But obviously, if stuff works, the other guys are gonna, they're gonna kind of draft off of it, I guess, right? So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Kaboom type of insert in other products. You know, I mean, this is what happens when you have some success, right? Imitation is the best form of flattery, right? The most sincere form of flattery. Can you see a picture of it? Tatis, hometown advantage, I think is what it was. It's card number 1, HA1. Are you looking for it? Looks like you are.
I find it. AJ1. All right, what's top of mind for you?
HA. What's top of mind for me? I'm excited, man. I mean, I got a good play today. Soccer is there. We got the NBA All-Star game. Be careful with your picks tonight, says Andrew, because you don't know what kind of motivation people have going into this All-Star break. People resting, you know who's going to play. It's tough on some of those lines. I opened up baseball today. And, I open up a jumbo tops box. We're saving some for Friday. Open up some baseball. Gets me, excited. Gets the people going. I wish.
Why today?
Because it came out. I think today was release day for Topps flagship. Wander Franco's rookie card,
So you went to your LCS, grab some boxes?
I grabbed some boxes, 100%.
Do you even have allocation, bro?
I don't have no allocation, bro. I don't have allocation, bro.
Did you hit a Wander?
I did. We got a Wander, just the base. Cool product. I mean, I bought a jumbo box, which was $150. And the jumbo guarantees you an auto instead of just getting a regular hobby box. That's probably like $80. You get, 2 pieces of memorabilia and a guaranteed auto. The hobby box is not guaranteed auto. And nobody really cares about the autos. You want to get parallels and stuff. I didn't get a good parallel. I think I got Ryan Weathers was my gold card, the numbered card to 2022. Garbage, not a rookie. I didn't get any rookie parallels. I got a base Wander. Got a DeGrom jersey numbered to 50, which is cool. And my autograph, as far as autos go, and I've opened a lot of Topps flagship, it's not terrible. It was numbered to 199. It was on card, too. It's Edgar Martinez. So this year, I guess because I'll tell you who that is in a second because I know you don't know who it is. I guess it's the 35th anniversary of 1987. And anybody who knows me, I've commented about this. One of my favorite sets because it was like I was 10 when this set came out. The 1987 Topps, that's the wood border, the cool wood border set. They have that in this. So the silver packs have 87 Topps. So it's an 87 Topps design. Edgar Martinez auto. Edgar's a Hall of Famer. Played for the Seattle Mariners. 3,000 hits. He's one of the first, if not the first, DH to get in the Hall of Fame. Right? Somebody who was primarily a DH for their career and got in the Hall of Fame. He was just that good of a hitter. So real good hitter. When we saw that it was an 87 Topps and it was Seattle, we were like, come on, be a Griffey auto. That would be amazing. It would be slightly overrated, according to Andrew.
Did he play on the team with Griffey?
Yes, he played on the team with Griffey.
So you had a Hall of Famer, 3,000 hitter, 3,000 hit hitter, and Griffey, one of the greatest of all time.
And A-Rod for a little while with him too.
And that's not enough to win in baseball?
A-Rod pitching. I mean, they had unit for a little while, but no. Remember,
I don't understand anything.
When Griffey was there for the vast majority of that time, you had the Braves in the National League were dominant, and then you switched over to the Yankees. Think of like the Patriots being like such a dominant force, not a lot of other teams, or the Bulls.
I don't think that's fair. So you're like, well, Griffey's this good, but this team was like a juggernaut. Well, if he's the best player in the league, doesn't he make the team?
No, not in baseball. See, that's the fun thing about watching the games, right? You can watch basketball games because you have the attention span of a goldfish, and that's what you need for basketball. And there's only like 6 names you need to know, right? Because there's nobody really getting in the games. Baseball, 6 names, 9 names.
Not if Thibs is the coach. He doesn't play anybody. Anyone younger than 25, he doesn't play. Guys, do yourself a favor if you want to laugh. Go to yesterday's box score against Oklahoma City and look at the minutes played by the players. And this is after a huge, long road trip. He played quickly. Obi Toppin and Cam Reddish, their youngest players, for 15 minutes.
The flip side to that, by the way, was it was an overtime game, and Randall played 45 minutes. And you wonder why a guy who has the 7th triple-double that he's had as a Knick in 2 seasons already on the leaderboard, 30-something points, 12 or so, 11 rebounds, 10 assists, why he doesn't have legs to make that fall away, turn around, ridiculous jump shot that he took at the end of regulation to win the game. He's not good at creating the offense. He's good at when he gets set up, that's fine. But if he's got too much time, he finds his way into trouble. And it's a shame too because he's actually picked up his game. I watched that game last night. He's actually picked up his game a little bit, and his numbers are good. but he should not be the one. You want to take the last shot? Fine. Let somebody else hold the ball. Give it to him with 1 second so he can't do anything except shoot. But when he's got 8 seconds, he'll turn it over. He'll try to do 3 spin moves when you don't even need one. And then
3 spin moves to the baseline, fading to the right, shooting with his left hand.
Try to throw a pass that goes 4 feet over the guy's head into the stands. So, I mean, it's a shame. And you're right, man, because the way they managed the time there, when they got to overtime, they were dead. They were dead. Yeah, so I'm with you, man. 100% with you. 100%. So,
did you see the one time where they subbed Cam Reddish out in, I think it was the fourth quarter. It was very early in the fourth. And the whole bench was kind of like laughing. Did you see that?
Yep.
And I was like, they must know that Thibs is crazy too. Like they must know. Like I can't make sense of it. I can't make any sense of it.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
But Edgar Martinez, what else did you get?
No,
I want to show you. I want to show you a card. I bet you've never seen this card before in your entire life. Okay.
Yep.
Ready? If you guys are watching on YouTube, close your eyes. This card is hilarious on probably a number of levels. Ready, Cage?
Mm-hmm.
The 2021 Topps Update
US
1
cool.
SSSP Fernando Tatis with an enlarged head.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I love how they put SSSP.
Super short print.
Yeah, and then look, why do they make his head so big? Why do they make his...
You know what's funny is when these things came out, I thought, and I saw like a meme doing the big head, little bodies, and I was like, I thought it was all a joke. And then it's a real card. I gotta look too, because they do that with Topps with like the short prints. I gotta look now at the cards and see if there's any short prints. Maybe they got, maybe this year they did the guys with big feet. I don't know. I don't know why they did that, but it is what it is. So
this is what gets me. Super. What do you think the 3 S's stand for? Super short print. Short. Don't want no short print. That's what I think it is. Cage. We have an amazing community. Also, they take after me. I'm the kind of guy that even when I agree with you, it sounds like I'm arguing with you. It's basically my biggest flaw and deficiency in life. So they like to argue with us. Why is it so difficult for people to understand that, one, when we make graphics, they're not, necessarily like they're snapshot in time, right? And second, that comparing a PSA 9 to an SGC 9.5 to a BGS 9.5 has merit. There are other ways to compare cards across grading companies, but one way to compare it is to compare similar grades by the numerical value versus, this company labels something mint and gem mint. This company labels something gem mint plus, pristine, and black label. This other company labels this flawless. Mm-hmm. Did you see the post that we did? We're comparing the LaMelo Silvers, where it was SGC 9.5, BGS 9.5, and a PSA 9. Mm-hmm. Give me your take on that, because we've done this post maybe a few times, comparing grading companies and the resale value of cards.
I saw
people
Slam Stocks
freak
posted
out.
the same thing, right?
I don't know.
The same thing. LaMelo PSA 9 and what it sells for, SGC 9.5 and what it sells for, and BGS 9.5 and what it sells for. And I got to tell you, basically, look at the SGC 9.5 sold for the most of the three of them. The PSA 9 sold for the least, I think, which just shows you when you go PSA, you're trying to get that 10, right? That 10 is huge. I mean, the difference between 9s and 10s are just tremendous. But when you put all the things on balance, right, if SGC 9.5 is going to sell for the most, it's also going to be the quickest turnaround and the cheapest way to grade. So, I mean, if you have the highest resale, the quickest back in your hands, and the least expensive way to grade with the best customer service, I know we get paid by them, but that graphic shows pretty clearly, at least for that particular card with the secondary market, that SGC is the way to go right now. Things change, but SGC is the way to go right now on a card like that.
But here are some of the comments. Like, not a fair comparison. You were comparing mint to mint plus to gem mint. And this is a Tiger holder, like a Luca, like our NFT holder. And we don't hold back. Like we banter, and I don't agree with his commentary.
Well, I mean, listen, I think a PSA 9 to an SGC 9.5 to a BGS 9.5 is about as close of a comparison as you can get. I do. I honestly.
This gentleman wanted. He says, I think a better comparison would be all 9s, as they're all mint. And my response was, well, PSA has 2 grades, a 10 and then a 9.
Correct.
SGC has an SGC gold label, an SGC 10, an SGC 9.5, and then an SGC 9. And same with BGS 9. BGS.
Listen, it's one way of looking at it, and you're right. Okay, mint, that's fine. That's perfectly fine. The way I look at it is that is each company's second grade. And I'm going to take off the gold label pristine, that both Beckett and these guys have, right? PSA has a 10 and a 9, right? SGC, BGS, they have 10s and they have 9.5s.
And we asked Nat, he doesn't plan on adding a gold label. Remember, we had him on the show when we asked that question.
And the 9.5s, on BGS, there's a lot of different with the subgrades. There's a lot of different variants in there, right? So you can say a min gem versus a true gem versus a gem plus. There's a whole bunch. But if you think about it this way, right, the comparison, you could even say that it's not fair because we're using PSA's second highest grade, whereas we're really dropping down on SGC and BGS, right? Because top grade, PSA 10, SGC gold label, pristine 10, BGS black label, pristine, right? PSA 9, if you want to go to the second level here, it's SGC gem mint 10, non-gold. It's BGS 10, gold label, not black label. Would that be fair? No. Okay, so let's bring it down another level, right? Now we have PSA's second best grade, 9, against BGS's third, 9.5. Against SGC's 9.5, third. BGS, their third is a 9.5 with some 10s. We didn't do that. Their fourth would be a 9.5 all gems. We didn't do that. We did a min gem. I mean, I know you have. The thing is, you can spin the narrative, honestly, on this however you want to spin it to be where you want to go, right? PSA has chosen to do 9 and 10. That's it. The 10 is in its own world. We get it. 9.5 to 9 seems to make sense to me. But if you want to say it should all be 9s, fine, it's all 9s.
Do you make our content?
No, that one, I didn't make that. Not at all. I didn't make
one. I'm just asking to give context because that was made by our content team. And it's cool to give our takes unfeathered, right? Unbiased. Like this is just, someone makes this and you see it and you share what you, but it is interesting because you can spin the narrative any way you want. And whether it's, second highest grade comparison, some people compare by the terms, mint to mint to mint.
Listen, let's be fair. What I got from that would be if I have a card and I've looked it over and I think it's going to be a PSA 10, I'm sending it to PSA. That's it. Let's be as honest as we can.
Can I tell you what I thought?
PSA 10 is going to give me the best return, but PSA 9's not. Go ahead, please. I'd love to hear.
I agree with that. And where I went with it, because my loyalty isn't to these companies; it's to our audience and trying to make the money. You know how much I hate being broke, and I hate when they're broke. I would buy PSA 9s and crack them and send them to SGC. That's where I went.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat here. A lot of ways to skin a cat. You got to play?
Yeah.
Can I, before we do that, I have a play also. It's a really quick one. Guys, Andrew's all about bringing value, and value is all over the place, right? We're going to work this into Manny's auction show. It's not even something I had thought about, right? Because he was bringing you value by talking about what auction results were. But Andrew and I have talked about this all the time. There's value in that, but that's after the fact, right? What can you do with that? It's great data. It's great stuff that's out there. If something went high, maybe you can find that same card somewhere else and get it a little lower. It's actionable, but it's not really being proactive. It's giving you results. It's giving you information after it's already happened. I'm going to give some credit to Mr. Rick Probstein. Take a look at his most recent video. What he did, and what we're going to have Manny do, or I'm going to ask Manny to do this on his going forward auction show, because I think it's going to provide more value to Luca Nation and to our listeners. Probstein did an analysis of Memory Lane's auction. Now, we talked about Memory Lane. Manny brought up Memory Lane, right? But Pro State has a really unique way of doing it. Just like you were creative and said, all right, let me take the 9s and bring them over and make SGC 9.5s. Maybe you get a 10. Who knows? And there's an arbitrage there between the cards, and the pricing. Probstein gave some cards that he thought were undervalued. But then he gave a real great strategy that I think is a way to navigate 2022. It was take a look at the back of the auction catalog. And after you've got all the Hall of Famers and after you've got all the high-end lots and whatnot, all the high-end items, there are bunches of cards, lots of cards that are grouped together. Vending variety, Hall of Fame variety, 200 of these, a near set of these. Here's 1956 Topps group of these, blah, 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 all lumped together. And it's Ted Williams with some Mickey Mantle. The football ones have some Frank Gifford with some Jim Brown. And basically his thought on it, you look at these $600. He's like, this lot is $600. The breakup value of this is several thousand. But you're probably not going to get a person buying on Memory Lane paying full price on it, because the way you get full price is you take the Frank Gifford, you take the Jim Brown, you take the Johnny Unitas, and you sell those individually to a Unitas fan, to a Jim Brown fan, to a Frank Gifford fan who's going to pay market price for it. But those fans are not going to pay market price for all of those cards combined, because a Unitas fan might not be a Gifford fan, might not be a Jim Brown fan. So his analysis was, these things should never even be bunched up in lots like this. And the back of the catalog has a ton of them. Baseball, football, hockey, basketball. And the thought is, and he even said, look, I used to do this myself. This is how I built up a bankroll in the very beginning, is I would buy lots. You got to put in the time. You got to do a little research of what these things sell for. They're PSA graded. Some of them are raw. Some look at what they sell for and put together what the real value of these lots should be. And ultimately, the
that's me texting the group and you're getting the text.
Yeah, I'm just swiping. I'm trying to be like, is this? But for me, I saw another link. I'm like, did something die here? Does he want me to go into another room? I didn't know what it was. So anyway,
sometimes when I'm navigating eBay, I find some sick deals. Sorry, go ahead, Cage.
So this one here, I think it's a good play. I think we're going to try to bring that to you also. These things that are going to potentially go under the radar in upcoming auctions, and maybe you can act on them before the auction ends instead of after. It's a cool little analysis, cool little play. Give Rick a little bit of credit on. He went through kind of like, here's my thought on this guy, here's my thought on this guy, and then also here's some lots that I think may end too cheap.
I got to give back to adding value. We've been fortunate that it's not just you and I anymore, and our team also. We're believers of a few things. We're leaders. We're not followers. We're not going to go out there. We're not going to be a community of bullies. We're not going to go shit on other people's content. And third is we want to add value. And I got to give a shout out to Manny, MBT, Alex, top to bottom. They create content not to flex, not to show off, not to be like, yo, look at how many plays Cage gave that were stellar and made you guys millions. It was, hey, here's some education. Here's something that we're putting a lot of work into, a lot of time into, to make it a little easier for you to make good decisions, good buying decisions. So it's not just us, and I got to give a credit to our team. So people listening, looking at our content, need to understand that's our value system. That's where we come from.
All right, what's your play?
So it's interesting. Not every player and not every superstar is in Kaboom. And that's really interesting to understand. So there are guys that came up like Luka, and he was a star from day one. So Panini took him and packaged him and put him in Kaboom products. But my play today is someone that I think the Blazers shipped out CJ to give this guy more time to develop, more space to develop, more freedom to develop. And it's fun, man. Sometimes this happens where a team gets, like we said, right around the trade deadline, the Blazers just completely overhauled their roster. But now they're on a 3-game win streak, Cage. And they've beat some incredible teams. Yesterday, they beat the Bucks. And this young guy, I mean, I got to give shout out to one of our fans. He's been on this guy way longer than I've been on. But Anthony Simmons is a young talent that's developing. Now he has the opportunity with Dame out, CJ gone, completely rebuilding roster. He gets the ball 30% of the time. He gets to show what he's about. And what he's about, he's a gamer, he's a baller, and he's a scorer. He's freaking good, man. He's a little undersized, but the point is he doesn't have a Kaboom product. And that might seem innocuous and not a big deal, but it's actually a bigger deal than it seems. And what what happens is when this kind of scenario plays out is there's only really a few true cards of his now. Either you go for a Prism or you go for National Treasures. His brand isn't as diluted. So my play today, it's not a National Treasures. It's not a gold Anthony Simmons, though I would want to go for that. And I wouldn't even go optic. I really wouldn't go optic. I sent our team the Black Velocity, even though I love that card. And you can maybe take a look at it because it's really affordable, and I love that card. And it's kind of like a color match with that Portland Trailblazers look. So it would look amazing. But if you go for like a Prism red of his, for example, I think that's a good play where you wouldn't have to break the bank. You would be paying $600, $700, $800 on it. But what you would be getting in return is a tremendous amount of upside for an up-and-coming star that doesn't have these other products that people typically buy, taking away from his value. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I like the guy. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. I mean, and you know what he has now with that team trading, he also has the ability to – there's no one standing in his way, right? He can show what he has this year, right? So this is going to be, one of those times, right? So a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. Yeah. So I'm going to give you something. Joe Burrow was awesome. Second year. You know what I mean? Second year player. Joe Burrow very close. He could have been 14-2. Division crown, could have passed for 5,000 yards, could have passed for 5,084 yards, would have been like one of the first ones to do that. 48, could have had 48 touchdowns, breaking a whole bunch of records. Could have set 6 league records. Could have won the MVP.
Who are you talking about right now?
And in the AFC Championship game, which he won, surprising everybody, he could have passed for 421 yards. And 4 touchdowns.
Why do you shoot out
win?
You're confusing me. You're hacking my brain.
He could have, right? He could have done this, right? He could have completed 29. He could have won 45-28 over the Steelers and earned his first trip to the Super Bowl. And then in the Super Bowl, he could have completed 60% of his passes for 318 yards, a touchdown, but fall to a better team. Slightly better team in the NFC. That could have been what Joe Burrow did. Very similar to what Joe Burrow did. But instead, what I just told you was what a second-year quarterback did in 1984. That second-year quarterback did win the
Dan Marino.
Did go 14-2 and did have what I consider, because of what the game was before that season, the best season a quarterback has ever had. Ever. Peyton Manning, I know he had some great seasons. Brady, I know he had some great seasons. But the
Did
game,
the Dolphins beat the Steelers?
The Dolphins beat the Steelers in the AFC Championship game and then lost to the 49ers, 38-16. He did not have a good Super Bowl. He only had 1 touchdown and threw 2 interceptions. But, leading to that, I mean, that year he set 6 league records, won the MVP as a second-year player. He didn't start as a rookie. He came in the middle of the season. And, they were good. I think he came in like week 6. They won the division. He threw 20 touchdowns. He was good. He was a Pro Bowler, Rookie of the Year. But next season was amazing. And, he continued to do that basically, for a long time. But here's the fun of it, right? He had a great career, right? Great career, right? And from that 84 season, started in 83, by the end of 95, he had passed Fran Tarkenton as the career passing leader in attempts, completions, yards, touchdowns. His career totals were crazy. I mean, he was the standard bearer before these guys came in, right? He he had 61,000 yards, 420 touchdowns in 242 games, which it may not sound like a lot now because we're used to these guys just throwing the ball all over the place. But at the time, it was the running backs, man. It was, that was when Emmitt Smith was playing and Barry Sanders was playing, and it was big time run games and pound the ball in there. 13 times in his career, he passed for 3,000 yards or more, and 6 of them over 4,000 yards. 300 yards in a game 63 times, 400 more yards in a game 13 times. First or second team All-Pro 8 times, and earned all AFC honors 6 times. But here's why I bring up Dan Marino today. After that 1984 loss in the Super Bowl, despite the fact that over the next decade he was the best quarterback in the league. I love Joe Montana and he won championships, but Dan Marino was the guy. Right? Dan Marino was the guy who went back there and was a gunslinger, and he was the one who set all the records. More passing yards, more touchdowns, more everything. He never got back to the Super Bowl. Never got back. Because it's hard in the NFL. It's hard to get to a Super Bowl. It's very hard to win a Super Bowl. And this does not mean that Joe Burrow is not going to get back to the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, I'll take 2 seconds now to make sure you know that's not what I'm saying. They have Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase all under contract through 2023, right? They've got some key defensive backs signed up. They're going to franchise their safety. They have the 4th most room under the cap next year of any team in the league. So they are a team, unlike the Chiefs, who are not going to have much room at all. They're a team that should be able to lock up all of their players and go out and sign some players. And we're not talking about signing Pro Bowl tackles. We're just talking about shoring up the offensive line. They should be good. That said, good is not enough. The Dolphins were very, very good. Dan Marino was beyond good. And Joe Burrow coming into the league would probably sign up for Dan Marino's Hall of Fame career. One of the greatest QBs of all time. But he never won a ring. And I know we say Griffey didn't win a ring. You don't care about his 10 gold gloves and his 13 All-Star appearances and his 600 and change home runs, even though he wasn't healthy for a lot of the seasons. It's a ring. And he almost won one in 2005 with the White Sox in a trade that didn't happen. But in any event, you get the point. I do not think it's all about the championships because I can now go through so many studs. Barry Bonds in baseball never won a championship. Tony Gwynn never won a championship. Ted Williams, Ernie Banks. We can do it in basketball. We can do it in football. And to me, leading the charge for my generation is Dan Marino because he was the quarterback. When you opened product in the early 90s, you wanted the Marino insert. Right? When you opened 94 SP, it was the Hollowview Marino, the die-cut Hollowview Marino that you were going for, right? Or the Marshall Foil rookie. But the Marino is better, right? So
we don't talk about Marshall Faulk enough, Cage.
We don't. We should. We'll get to him another time because he's not my play today. But Marino is. And here's so I'm gonna tie him to Burrow right now because it's impossible for me not to because Marino got there a second year, right? And so did Burrow, and they both lost. And they both had great years, and you want to root for them. And Burrow is going to be a hell of a quarterback. He's got all the intangibles. But so did Marino, and Marino never got back there. And I hope Burrow gets back there. I hope he wins a dozen Super Bowls. I hope everybody's holding his cards, realizes that he's, spectacular and they all make money. But if I could add a card into my blue chip, holds it out over time, make sure you're doing this with a wide view because over a couple of months, sure, there could be dips. It's the 1984 Topps Dan Marino rookie card. I think it's card 123. PSA 10. You want to talk about pops, man. We talk about this guy. Look at all the things I just said. There are less than 400. I think last I checked, 399 PSA 10s, which sounds like a lot. It's a little more than the Jordan PSA 10. But this card sells for under $4,000 in PSA 10 with less than 400 of them. And when you compare that to what's being paid now for Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and all of these other QBs who would sign on the dotted line tomorrow to have the career numbers that Dan Marino put up, it's just one of those things where it's not flashy. It's and I got to tell you guys, this is a card I regretfully do not have in my collection. And it's one I will add. I don't know when I'll add it. I should have added it a million times, because if you go back, sure, it was trading a little bit more back in 2021, like everything else was when things ran. But it'll get back there, 6 months, a year, it'll be back there. But if you go back to 2020, this was a $1,500 card. Go back to 2020, it was a $2,000 card, and it's basically doubled 2.5 times that in 2 years, which the stock market hasn't done and most investments haven't done. And this is one of those things where, if just think about my investment strategy on this, if the amount of people that are going to be coming in that everyone thinks are going to be coming in, fanatics and all the great things that are happening, so much so that there's going to be enough people to buy all of those Zions, to buy all of those Mahomes and Josh Allens and Herberts and you name it. There's going to be 399 people who are going to want Dan Marino's only rookie card. So
Plus,
that's my...
How many of them watched Ace Ventura?
I mean,
most. If not all.
Man. I mean, he's in Ace Ventura. Obviously, he's in that. But, I mean, it's just one of those things that I fall back on. It's funny, you didn't know what my pick was, but you started the episode off saying how we bring different styles, different strategies, different ways of trying to, diversify portfolios. And you are more of a scout, and I'm more of a, hey, let's look at the market. Let's see what's going on.
What's
going
to happen? Mm-hmm.
I don't think Burrow's cards are going to go down that much, especially not on the high end, right? And I don't think Herbert's cards are going to stay down. And I don't think Josh Allen's cards even went down. And Patrick Mahomes' cards are probably going to start going right back up. And if all those guys' cards go up, right, Marino's card is cheap. Montana's card is cheap. The guys who have done it, they're cheap. So that's my take on it, my thought on it. And if the 10's going to go up, the 9 will, I don't go down too far. Maybe find a BGS 9.5. There are BGS 10s of this card too. Maybe find a BGS 9.5 that's real nice. And when the 10 moves, that moves also. But yeah, it's just, I looked at his stuff, and while Burrow was there, I was rooting for him, even though I didn't think he was going to, because I remember watching this game. I remember watching this game as a kid, and I remember thinking, wow, Marino is going to throw the ball all over the field. This is Dan Marino's season. They were 14-2, and they are going to, he's going to do his thing. He's going to go out there, and he's got Mark Clayton and Mark Duper. Those were his wide receivers. And he, it's going to be a Marino show. Unfortunately, when you go against the other side of the equation, when you're 14-2 and the team you're facing is 15-1, and they have Joe Cool number 2, right? You got Joe Namath, Joe Montana, Joe Burrow, and you got a team that plays the kind of team ball that they did, and also gave up no points. A lot of people don't realize this. You need a good defense. Kind of what Brady got his first couple Super Bowls. That 49ers team, if I remember right, they were the number 1 defense in the league that year. And while Marino was throwing the ball against everybody, he couldn't throw the ball against them. I think they gave up 14 points a game on average that season. Defense wins championships. So I remember watching that at a friend's house. One of the kids I played football with, youth football, and my dad and his dad were like, let's get it started. Marino, man, it's Danny Marino time. Everybody was on the Marino train like they were on the Burrow train. And Montana just said, nope. Now, I'm not comparing.
Are there any Super Bowl cards? Cage, are there any Super Bowl cards with Marino and Montana?
I don't know. It's a good question. We should. I'm sure there has to be something out there. It would be a kind of a cool one, right? To get that 84 Super Bowl where Montana
one photo.
Marino. That would be even better. Something to look for. I will definitely research that. But yeah,
dude, there's a Super Bowl ticket. So the first thing that came up, so this was Super Bowl. I don't know how to read X line X. Let me share $200.
X line X.
Yeah. What do you call these?
Roman numerals.
Yeah. X line X. So this one's folded up, but $200 on the ticket.
X.
$100.
X. It's an X, an I, and an X, right? So when an I is in front of an X, okay, the X is a 10. When the I is in front of it, that means it's a 9, right? So it's Super Bowl X which is 10, and then 9. So it'll be Super Bowl 19. Okay, Super Bowl 18, the year before that, 1983, if I remember, was the Raiders. Super Bowl 18, actually, Super Bowl 18 might have been Redskins.
Wow, they rocked them. Yeah. 38-16.
Yep.
Way to take the alt spread on that one, whoever did that.
So 1985 Topps has a passing leaders card with Montana and Marino on it. It's cool black border, probably pretty condition sensitive, but I don't think there's a Super Bowl, specific card. I could look for it. It's pretty funny. We shall see. Super Bowl 18, man. Super Bowl 18
so there's
was
a
the
1993 Cage, Upper Deck, Dan Marino,
Raiders,
Joe
Redskins.
Montana, autographed Super Bowl card, Super Bowl 19, autographed, $299.
That's sweet. It's autographed by both of them?
Yep.
A 1993 Upper Deck. All right, I'll look at that. Send me that link. That seems a little too cheap.
I might buy it for you.
Yeah. Oh, let's go. Make an offer. Make an offer.
Let's
go. It's offer time.
It's confusing, but I can't use eBay here. We have Mexican eBay, so it just gets weird.
It happens. 1993 Upper Deck. That's cool. Well,
is that an episode?
That's an episode. I couldn't go too long after Super Bowl without bringing up Marino, just because it's been in my brain the whole time watching this Burrow thing, and I know I was only, I think I was 8. Yeah, I was 8 years old when that Super Bowl happened. I just turned 8, but I remember it. I remember watching that Super Bowl, and I remember, right from the get-go, all of the adults in the room being deflated because they thought this was the coming out party of the multiple Super Bowls for Dan Marino, and it didn't happen, and then he never got back. And there was a lot of that same kind of thing with Burrow this year. We'll see. NFL's tough, man. It's tough to get there. We're spoiled by Brady. People think it's just, okay, you're Tom Brady, you just get there. He'll switch teams and just win it again with another team.
Sometimes I would say that amongst my criticism of LeBron, I'm aware of my bias, and I think I'm spoiled by that as well. Like, he is incredibly great, and what he does, even though he makes it look so easy, he did just run through the East for basically 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, he was the Raptors' worst enemy. Think about it. Think about this, and I can't believe I'm saying this. DeRozan became DeRozan because LeBron left the East.
Yeah.
Because DeRozan was really good on the Raptors, but we always thought of him as second tier because of how Cleveland disparaged the Raptors every single year.
Yep. DeRozan's playing real good. I heard a nickname for him. What did they call him? The
Grim Reaper.
Was it? No, it was like a Lone Ranger thing. It was like the mid-ranger, the lone mid-ranger.
The Power Rangers.
Instead of Lone Ranger, it was the lone mid-ranger because he takes so many.
You kind of look like the guy that would come through the tube and give people, the speeches.
What tube?
Power Rangers. The tube.
Oh, you mean like just the face? The face
yes.
is like, oh, you Rangers, you have to go out there. That with the little robot dude.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
That's cool.
I'll do a little. And by the way, I did search Power Rangers tube. This guy.
There you go. Okay, that's a fat guy right there. I like. He's got the same chin as me. It hides the neck. I like it. I like it entirely. Look at that. If you were going to be a Ranger, what color Ranger would you be?
This guy.
You want to be the Black Ranger? Clearly, you didn't watch the games because anyone who watched Power Rangers goes Green Ranger. Come on.
Why?
You have to watch the Rangers. I don't know. I just felt like saying you needed to watch the Rangers.
Oh, gross.
The Green Ranger. He's the best. There he is. I thought you were going to go Pink Ranger, too. All right. Well, listen, this is definitely an episode. It's a fun one. I don't think I ranted today. People are getting used to rants. I will say this. I do have a post up there with a little LeBron. Go comment on it because I'm going to give away some slabs. Anybody who bought stuff from us for Whatnot, it's already out, shipped out. You name it. All your box breaks from this weekend, all shipped out. You guys should get those soon. I got somebody reach out to me today, wanted to mint a Tiger NFT. We'll help walk through that. That's pretty nice. Good stuff. Those are still minting in case you want to. What else we got? That's it.
Dude, Doris Burke owns an ape.
Okay. Is that good? It's not the right Doris Burke, though, right?
No.
Click on Doris
not
Burke
the ESPN,
and it says,
not the ESPN analyst.
You're a little slow. You know what you got to do? You got to watch the Twitter, and then you'll know these things like I do. You got to watch it. And make sure you watch it. We love you.
So what's the Twitter saying today about NFTs?
I don't know. I didn't watch the Twitter. I just wanted to say I watch everything. I'm gonna go watch the traffic outside.
We don't talk NFTs. I love how
we don't talk about Bruno.
You know that people in our YouTube comments want us to talk about NFTs and digital collectibles more?
Makes sense. I'm getting a lot more offers on my Panini stuff. People messaging me, making me offers. Yep.
Did you accept the LaMelo Gold offer?
Guy's still trying. He's adding stuff to the mix. He wants the Edwards also.
Is it the Schlide guy?
Different person.
You're really good at networking. A lot more people? How come the prices aren't moving?
I mean, from what I'm hearing, I'd love to get Panini back on. We're hearing April-ish. They're talking about having the crypto payments in. People are waiting for that. So
and in December they're going to add colors and
they're going to Mars with Elon Musk. Next
June there's going to be search functionality, and then they'll build an app by 2017.
Yeah, it's called Exchangegram. You take a picture, boop, you put it on the line. No, that's Instagram. No. Mine's totally different. Mine's completely different. You take a picture, you don't have to say anything. You just take the picture, boom, put it on the line instantly, on the line. Oh, listen.
What about taking a picture of someone else's break when they hit a major card, and then selling it on OpenSea?
That was Lameem's meme today. It was the young LeBron, old LeBron. I tagged him in mine, so he used a different picture. When I do memes, I always tag Lameem. So I want to make sure it's like getting the Godfather's permission to do business in their neighborhood, you know. So I tag him, but his was about that.
Not financial advice, but I will not be buying those. Just so you guys know. Well, the joke's on me. I don't have any more money because I lost it all on books. Bye.
No.